What's up, everybody? Welcome to the View from Jamestown podcast edition. This is episode 78. This is the August 2022 episode, and we are sitting down with the full crew this morning. We have TCC President Robb Roach, Inside Sales Manager Nicole Greenberg, VP of Sales and Marketing AJ Petrarca, and Latin American Operations Manager Javier Fernandez.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
What's happening?
It's been a while since I've been here.
In person, at least.
Person,
We had you on
that's true.
We had you on the phone last time.
You were party prepping.
Phone a friend.
Yes.
Welcome home. I think you were in Mexico, right? And then you missed the other one because
Yes.
you're party planning.
Yes.
Big summer over here.
Big
You're
summer
busy,
for me.
Jav.
Busy summer for me.
Mr. Worldwide suits you well.
We did pipe them in, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was in the last one.
Yeah, FaceTime.
You're a lifeline. Phone a friend.
Came out pretty good too. Like the phone right here. You can actually see it pretty well.
Perfect.
Worked out well.
I like that.
We're going to have to pipe them in from the concierge level or first class seat, in the plane next time.
Yep.
Yeah, over the Atlantic Ocean somewhere. That'd be something.
Yes.
Would be something.
Not far with that technology, I'm sure.
But yeah, it's mid-August. It's been extremely hot. It's not so hot today, which is nice, but it's been hot.
Heat wave, drought.
Yep.
My lawn is thirsty.
I was just
I
going to
think
say.
everyone's is, unfortunately.
Yep. The humidity is low enough, too, where you don't walk outside and, afros pop out.
But lately it's been really nice. Almost feels like September weather, just the last few days. Thank God the heat wave's over.
Nicole's not spray tan this time. We were just talking about.
Yep. So I'm back. I didn't want to have, then you guys would have to match and shades and all that. No.
We're not doing that.
We're all natural.
Yeah.
We're all natural here.
Yeah. We got the black half of the table over here. Yeah. You guys missed the black on black memo. I still think that's black. I don't believe
This
that's
is navy
but-
blue, 100%.
I
I'm going to call it. So, yeah,
You be the
that's
judge.
black, navy blue.
Okay.
We could
That's
take a
like
poll
that-
later. Oh,
It was
that
a viral
gold.
thing.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
with the
Viral
dress.
thing?
Yeah.
Whether it was gold or blue. Was that what it was? Or gold or black?
blue
Something
or,
like that?
Yeah, I don't remember. Blue or gold?
I don't remember what
Yeah,
it was either.
Well, not that
But
you
this
could.
is a lot clearer. That's
Well, I was
obviously
going to
navy
say,
blue.
but you.
Obviously.
I mean, come on, AJ, of all people.
Yeah, we're going to bring that back.
That would be an interesting little poll. Put
Yeah.
up side by side. See how people's perception of color really.
We just got to
Really
take a
is.
close up of that and have people judge for themselves.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll get that going over. We'll get a picture taken.
Oh, we don't need a picture. I'll just, you know what? We'll walk around the office. I'll take a poll.
All right.
Nice and easy, right?
Deal.
Love it.
But yeah, it's mid-August. It's been hot, not only here but in Europe. So we're hearing about a lot of potential concerns and things going on. Starting to hear some companies making public stances on things like the Rhine River being super low. We've been talking about for I guess a couple months now. I think it's the second or third podcast we've talked about it on. But that's something that we're hearing a lot about and starting to make some impacts. Obviously, we'll make a bigger short-term impact right now in Europe, but we're expecting to see some concerns here with U.S. supply on different products coming into Q4. I think it's been a lot of summers now that this has been a ongoing concern. So obviously, back in that season where that's it's going to play a role in supply chains, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, not only in Europe, but elsewhere in the world, we're seeing weather being a major factor in supply chains, and it has been, and will be. And on a good note, that we haven't had any major hurricanes. It's been really quiet, so that's been good so far. And but we're going into the most active part of the year. As far as Europe goes, I mean, there's a dry Rhine, dry rivers systems in general, and also a major cutback in gas from Gazprom in Russia. So it's really hasn't matriculated because of the lack of demand, both domestically in Europe and Asia. Also, I think people saw these issues coming and maybe backfilled their supply chains from Asia is what we're hearing. We're hearing a little tidal wave of product from China and elsewhere to Europe to sort of fix these or help to fix with these issues. So they're not hurting right now on supply, but everybody's sort of predicting that as we get into the fall and winter and gas becomes more of a necessary heating issue, that those issues will come to the surface more.
Yeah, you're hearing companies figuring out what else they can use as raw materials or cutting back or even probably starting to shut plants down. So it's going to be, I think, an interesting couple couple weeks, really, and a couple months as that we get into that season.
Yeah, we're sort of already waiting for some major, issue to break to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It just hasn't really happened yet. And there's certain regions in France that get their raw materials, their oil and gas, et cetera, from Tunisia or from Africa as well. So it's not all. Germany is certainly impacted by the Russia and Eastern Europe by Russian gas supply, but elsewhere they're sort of, literally on an island, like Great Britain or on the peninsula, north Norway and Finland and things like that they don't necessarily have these issues. But mainland, Germany, Eastern Europe, they're definitely impacted. And we've heard, quite a few force majeures in Eastern Europe as well.
Yep. Have you guys seen it? Are they looking for like supply in the U.S. or stuff in like Mexico or Latin America? Like, are people worried about European supply and looking elsewhere? Or is it not really trickled down this far yet?
It's already looking that way, because this is an ongoing thing. It's been 3 years or 4 years of the same problem.
Yeah.
So they're looking elsewhere already. And so it's part of the looking for other supply chains. It's part of the game now.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because we've been talking about the Rhine River for the last 3 years we've been doing this. This has been a reoccurring theme, so I don't think this is a surprise to many people.
Yeah, we were just talking like they built these special barges that have a low draft that can go on little to no water, but even those can't be loaded anywhere close to 100%. So despite them trying to fix it, unless you can find more water to fill the Rhine River with, that I don't know how else to alleviate the problem.
I mean, just dredge it. It's simple.
Yeah, I mean, easy.
How hard could it be?
Yeah.
Manufacture more rain. Yeah. No, they had hovercrafts a couple of years ago. Didn't they have hovercrafts a couple of years ago moving stuff around? I mean, they could only put so much on it, but
I remember them thinking about it.
Yeah,
like those airboats with the big fan in the back.
Yeah,
moving one pallet at a time.
That's gotta be
it'd take a while to get 1 million tons moved that way.
Quite tedious.
Yeah.
But I think we sort of shot right over Asia, which is in worse shape demand wise and overall than even Europe is at this point. I don't know what is going on in China, but their zero COVID policy is not working.
Yep.
And maybe they seem to always have a plan. Maybe they've got some plan. There's this ruffling of feathers in Taiwan going on as well, and I don't know what the goal of that is, but it's obviously baiting China into some action here, and they're known to have action and reaction.
Yeah.
So it's a little scary.
I think last time, I don't know if it was in the last episode or if it was just kind of in between, we'd been talking about like freight rates getting a little bit better and availability to China. I know Javier, you're probably seeing it more with shipping to Latin America. Have you guys seen issues there? Has it been okay recently?
It's been
Supply side?
Supply side has been better, and we see the prices coming down every week.
Yeah.
Like a free fall. I don't know. So
on freight?
No, on the
prices.
On prices in general.
Freight's been pretty flat, I think, since our last podcast, ocean freight anyway. But yeah, a lot of things, I think just because the demand in China is so weak, and they're just trying to dump stuff wherever they can. So yeah, there's exception to certain products like, for instance, dicyandiamide, the producers are shut down right now for the there's environmental regulations. So that's kind of staying flat, but a lot of other things are just starting to tank a little bit price wise.
So it's kind of twofold that there's some concerns with industry in China using raw material. That's been a problem, but the flip side of that is supply going elsewhere out of China has, or I guess ironically, improved because there's less demand within Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's recession going on, Asian recession, European recession, and to some extent U.S. recession.
Yep.
And it's, we're just sort of getting the COVID hangover is lingering, and and the Fed's seems to be a decent job in combating the inflation, and the stock market has turned around, and the housing market took a dip, but it's starting to rebound. And I don't know how long they can keep printing money and prompt all this up, but they're certainly trying. And but demand seems to be stable. U.S. People are fulfilling contracts and still making stuff, especially in certain sectors like construction. It's still very good, and so we'll see. We'll see how things go. If things tend to pick up in Europe and Asia, things will certainly balance out very quickly, and the free fall in prices will stop very quickly, and it'll rebound very quickly as well.
Yeah. I heard an interesting take. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago. Like, production is still high, even though it seems like maybe on our side, like it's been a little bit slower with downstream purchases. People are saying that plants are still running and they're moving through stuff. They just had a lot of inventory, so they're kind of burning through inventory before looking to restock plants, whether they had totes on the floor, whatever the case might be. So I guess it made a lot of sense. I mean, people have been kind of overstocking their raw material inventory for a long time. They're trying to bring that back to normal levels. So they're still running at plants, even though maybe our business looks a little bit slow because people just aren't restocking those high inventory levels. I just thought that was interesting. Take on it.
There's a lot of panic buying over the last couple of years, and I think people are starting to work through that inventory now.
Bring it back to normal levels.
Yeah.
And going back to our last podcast when we called it a wobble.
Yeah.
You know, because even August at TCC is stronger than July. So July seemed to be that month where exactly the scenario you just portrayed it panned out. They, supply chains were extremely long. They didn't know if they were going to have the raw materials, so they pre-ordered a lot. It all showed up all at once, and demand slowed a little bit. So and a lot of times the buyers are seeing things like the oil prices come down, which rebounded again today, and natural gas prices are up quite a bit again this week. But they're betting on lower prices, and so are we. To some extent, we're not going to keep boosting our inventory with lower prices in the future.
Right. I guess that's a big question too. What's made along the Rhine River that may be affected? Whether it's something you're buying from the Rhine River to understand where the other offsets come from, or if it's upstream or downstream of you, kind of making sense of how that's going to impact everyone's business, I think would be a big question mark.
Yeah, and what position you are on the Rhine River makes a difference too, where you are on it, because certainly the upper reaches are drier than the lower, and so there's going to be not just the weather impact, but the gas impact coming out of the EU, and we'll see. I mean, that should really start September, October, when they prioritize the gas to consumers.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting next 2 months while that all shakes out, I think.
Definitely.
We were talking about the energy price a little bit before. It's kind of a mixed bag. Natural gas prices in the U.S. are up about 22% over the last 30 days, but crude oil is down 7%. Stock market's up significantly over the last 30 days. So it's been an interesting last couple of days on looking at energies in the stock market. It's, I think, been kind of an interesting pattern.
It is. It's wobbling for sure. Things are. We saw a low on the stock markets in June and somewhat of a rebound. Consumer demand is still relatively strong. But people just don't have the free cash in their pocket to just go spend like crazy like they did, COVID, post-COVID.
Right.
And so I think that retail is going to take a hit, but I think we'll still have a strong Christmas season.
Already thinking about Christmas, huh?
Yeah, right.
I know.
Really, Rob. Usually that's my job.
I know it's cold.
Well, we've got our Christmas gifts. We've got our Christmas gifts. Nicole did a great job already getting those in place. So
you got to secure the inventory, right?
Yeah. I mean, with the long supply chains, we have our Christmas gifts now in September.
Yep.
Well, but I mean, to your point, you're right. I've seen a lot of people cut back spending. I forget where I heard it, but that discretionary income that people are no longer getting from whether it was the stimulus money or just the cost of increase of goods across the board. And I'm curious to see how travel, air travel is going to do, if people are going to opt out.
That's been a nightmare.
Well, and it's been a nightmare, but have you seen how expensive flights are?
Flights are so expensive.
And you can't always, like, direct flights are hard to come by.
Right.
So for a family of four, I mean, depending on where you're going, you're looking at easy, probably close to $2,000 round trip. And when plus the cost of food, lodging, all of that. I mean, it's just,
which is also very expensive.
Right.
They're not messing around when it comes to food nowadays. I got a family of 6, and when we go out, the bill is shocking at times.
It is, but I mean, but to your point, like I think we're gonna see going forward, a lot of people cutting back certain discretionary items because of the expense associated with it.
I saw an article the other day that someone said that it's actually gotten more economical to eat at restaurants because restaurants don't change their menu prices as fast as like groceries do. Like groceries have gotten so much more expensive. I mean, it depends on the restaurant, obviously, but in some cases it's been almost cheaper or the same price to go eat out and let someone else cook than to do it yourself. If, between groceries going bad and how much food costs and stuff now. That was an interesting take.
Yep.
Just have to start flying private, I guess. It's almost the same price. Right, Javi?
No, not a bad idea. You know?
This has to turn into the Joe Rogan podcast, you know, in terms of popularity, and then we'll fly private everywhere. Promise. I promise.
We all heard it.
Yeah, quick flight to you get on fly to Quonset, get right to Mexico. be a nice short flight.
Yep.
4 hours, you're there.
Yeah, simple. Speaking of Mexico,
Yes.
how are things in south of the border?
Oh, pretty good. I was there a couple of weeks ago for the Latin American Coding Show. It was a successful show, probably one of the best trade shows I've been in Mexico. I've been to the Plastimaje, I've been to the UTEC, I've been to many of them, but this one people were out and about, happy to be there.
I mean, understanding the schedule of events at these Latin American trade shows, I would be happy too.
Yes.
we gotta bring some of this. Have you ever been to one of these trade shows with Javier?
He was telling me about it. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, we gotta
very
bring some of these
interesting.
trends to the
they start
U.S.
at noon and end up at 7.
Like the show floor opens at noon.
The show floor opens at noon, so
Okay,
everyone.
they've gotten smart about it down there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
You want to increase attendance at shows. This is how you do it.
And the booths start flowing at 1 p.m. The booths start flowing. You know, everything, beers, wine, you name it, full bars, and it was crazy. You know,
It's such an interesting concept. Like
an
what?
interest-
Like whose idea was that to say, hey, I think this will get great trade show attendance. Like let's try
I mean, it
this.
worked.
Like
Clearly
I was
it
gonna say
works.
it works,
Yeah.
but
and
who had that
and it
idea?
was good because getting around Mexico City is hard. It's getting harder and harder, and you have to plan your day very, very well because of the traffic. It's horrible. So in one place you got to see everybody. So that was perfect for me. It was really, really good to see friends, suppliers, customers, competitors. Everyone was there. Everyone was there in a short period of time. So it was a really good show. And I haven't seen a lot of people in 3 years, 2 years. So it was good to see people. So it was a successful show. On the business side, business is still strong. Inventories are high. They're planning for another year inventories. They're starting planning for that. But things are good. They are waiting for a lag on demand because of the U.S. But yeah, things are good overall, and we're getting new customers, new suppliers, always looking for new people. So that's always good, and the U.S. is a very attractive place for suppliers. You know, they're always looking at the U.S. You know, because the U.S. is the U.S. You know.
Yep.
So
That short lead times. I'm always amazed how short the lead times
Yes.
going to or from the U.S. is from Latin America.
Yeah.
Does Latin America rely heavily on Europe for supply like we do, or is it more?
More U.S.
But I mean, is it more Asia versus Europe?
Asia, yeah, more Asia than Europe, yeah.
Yeah. But demand is good. People are optimistic.
Yeah, and another problem is the inflation. I mean, it's expected the inflation is worldwide. We have inflation of 6.8% in Mexico, 8.2% in Brazil, and a shocking 51.7% in Argentina.
Wow.
And
That's
never
wild.
mind Venezuela, it's a 500%. You know, just to
I
mention.
think that's a low estimate.
That's a low estimate. I think that they're wrong, but
Not a lot of consistency through there.
no.
What's happening in Argentina? Why is it over 50%?
The government is making it difficult to do business there. It's just new regulations. They're protective the industry, but it's just make it very difficult to other people to enter the business.
Yeah, didn't you say they're trying to like prioritize domestic supply?
Yes,
but it's
and
not
regional,
really-
but it's not working.
Yeah.
You got to have the integration, you know, in production
Yeah,
to prioritize it first. You know.
yeah, and they're not basic in not very basic in many things. You know.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Not exactly centrally located to make it easy to get
No,
stuff in and out of
no,
either.
it's a strip.
Yeah. But sounds like, I mean, other than inflation, things are
Yeah.
good overall.
Things are popping, so I'm happy. And my WhatsApp is busy.
WhatsApp moving.
WhatsApp me? Yeah, my WhatsApp is busy. So
you got a shiny new iPhone. So
I got a new iPhone, so I'm happy.
Big day.
Nice orange case.
It has a really good battery, so I'm very happy. So I can be on WhatsApp all day. So I'm very happy with my new phone.
That's the best upgrade with the new phone is the battery life.
The battery life is a game changer.
Which one is that?
I got the 13.
Oh, wow. I'm still on a 10, I think. Jesus.
I was running.
No, you're not.
You're not. You're not.
Yes.
No way.
It's a 12 or so. I don't know.
That's a 14. That's a 14.
I think AJ
Limited
had.
edition.
I think AJ had one of the oldest phones.
Yeah, Cindy said I set some kind of record. I had
I was charging my phone
Still
twice
worked,
a day.
right? I mean, it still
It
worked.
still worked, but I was charging my phone twice a day. And I have the extended battery life, so I was like,
And you don't have a Mophie on that, so you don't have no extra battery.
No need.
Doesn't need it. Huh?
No
Wow.
need. It runs up to 2 days.
Unbelievable.
Well, they don't make Mophie in orange, so Javi wouldn't know it.
Yeah, orange is my favorite color, by the way.
That we know. If you walk
Yes.
anywhere near Javi, he's got his the orange phone, the orange laptop case.
Yep.
You know, everything's orange. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah, he put a 10 paragraph proposal to Cindy on why he needs a new iPhone.
Oh, really? Okay. She accepted it?
She accepted
Yeah,
the proposal.
yeah. That was good. It was hard, but
She's a tough
I got it.
gatekeeper.
Yeah, she's a tough gatekeeper. She's tough.
Collections and iPhones just hold those things tight. I think that kind of summarizes. I mean, the key bullet points that we've been talking about here recently. I don't know if anything else is.
Yeah, I mean, we might touch on something that we've been talking about a lot lately is the inefficiencies of companies. It seems like workers are resigned, to say the least. It's
Crazy amounts of turnover. Like,
I mean,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we're dealing with somebody and getting good results, and then they make a business decision to cut that whole department maybe, or replace, and sometimes it's the employee, but a lot of times it's the company, the old business strategy from Europe of cost cutting is having severe impacts on efficiencies, and it's getting frustrating, honestly. We take a lot of pride in retaining our people and having them become professionals and experts at the jobs that they have and do, and we've been lucky enough to do that, and it's really frustrating to deal with companies that prioritize cost over good service, and that seems to be the standard in our industry now, which is a shame. And there is a reason why employees are frustrated. It's because they're abused, and these companies come in and they just cut and take away everything, and I honestly think that the work from home thing is a real downfall for the employee. People think, oh, it's great, I can work from home, and what companies see is the lack of efficiency coming from their employees that are working from home, and then they figure out ways that they don't need them anymore, and they just cut them out. And I think that people who are pushing the work from home thing are really doing harm to the average employee, because when we think about it, so somebody wants to go work from home, well, I'll only pay them for the order they process, because I don't see them every day. We're not working together, being entrepreneurial and rising up the business together. They're just being an island on their own, say, processing an order. So, well, that order's worth $80. Now, how many orders did you do today? You know what I mean? So people are like, well, I want my lifestyle. I want to sit at home and I want to walk my dog and do my laundry. And they don't realize that it's not growth, it's not supporting the growth of the company, and the company figures out ways to make it worse for them. You have your lifestyle improve, I suppose, but I don't know. I've always been a creature of habit. I got to show up to work. I like the challenge. I like working, on a Friday afternoon, you cut out and that beer tastes so good because you did your job, so... Yeah.
Or a Monday. Nothing wrong with that.
The 10 a.m. Monday beer when you're working from home doesn't quite hit the same.
You see, Apple this morning came out and said he got to return to work at least 3 days a week. Elon Musk, he's a crazy guy, but he said, hey, if you're not working in the office, you're not working. I kind of agree. You know what I mean? Like,
what did he say? You have to work 40 hours in the office and then you can work from home? Something
exactly,
like that?
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's what we do.
Yeah.
I have communicated with every single one of you from 8 to midnight, maybe even after with Javi, like at any time. I'll wake up sometimes stressed about something 3 o'clock in the morning on work. I mean, I don't want anybody to live that particular lifestyle, but if you're passionate about what you do, if you like what you do, if you love what you do, it's not work. It's part of the game. And so anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it's not only you guys, it's our people in customer service and sales and logistics. It's like, I mean, we do truckers that are like, yeah, I'm sick. I don't feel like coming into work today. It's, and they're just abusive to people like us that depend on them to be there. And it just creates backup and problems. So I think there's got to be a resurgence in work culture in America, really.
And I think it depends on the industry and what you do. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're a software developer or a blogger and you just sit behind a computer for 8 hours, maybe working from home works, but like, especially with us, like it's all relationship driven. Like when you have people either not here or, with our suppliers or customers, people leave companies, switch jobs, like you lose that relationship piece to it. Like, sure, anybody can place POs or give you a price, but you get that relationship behind it and developing business that way. Like you can't just change who your contact is and expect that to still be there. You're developing that relationship with that person.
And there's a lot of collaboration that goes into it. That piece goes away when you are on an island.
Oh yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
It does. It does. It totally does. I mean, we sit together. We don't schedule meetings half the time. We all sit together and we come up with stuff on our own that.
We sit and chit chat and stuff comes up and ideas and we brainstorm and
we all pride ourselves on how long we've been here. I've been here 25 years. How long have you been here?
12.
15. Going on 15, I think. 14, 15.
It's 5.5.
So I'm almost 3.5.
So we're all priding ourselves. Oh, this is how long I've been, doing this. And chemicals aren't basic. They're intuitive. They're ever changing. The future of chemistry has to be non-harming to the environment. I mean, all of this takes collaboration, like Javi was saying. All of this, we're a part of that. I mean, we're part of bringing bio products and natural products and sustainable products to the market. And without us, how is it going to happen? Especially with these big companies that just cut their sales force and focus on their EBITDA and how many multiples of EBITDA they're going to get when they sell. And, there's just, so, it's, I think we're doing a good job thanks to all you guys and everybody remaining committed and not sort of jumping on this, train of let's just do the least we can do, which is just, I don't know. It makes
it's such a bizarre concept.
It's a bizarre concept.
Like that blows my mind that's actually something that people like do. Like, why?
I saw a post the other day of a guy set up on the beach with his laptop and he put a green screen behind him so he can go to meeting from the beach.
Well, we had
I saw that.
We had one of our employees during COVID, he says, he's actually a commissioned agent, so he doesn't have to work, 8 to 5 like us. He does what he does. There's no stress on him. And matter of fact, he's retired and just doing it part-time. Well, he was saying, yeah, my son, he's full-time. We golf every single day, sometimes 36 holes. And he's supposedly working, he says to me, supposedly working. And I said, wow, that's wild, that you're doing 36 holes every single day. I wonder during COVID, like, how much people's golf game improved. Really.
Well, that would be a great study.
That would be a great study, right?
Harvard case study.
Harvard case study.
Yeah.
How much was the handicap dropped during COVID overall?
Well, think about it. It was
compared
the perfect
to prior
time.
years.
Everyone went home. It was like March, right?
Yeah.
So just in time for the season to open up in April, May, and then
Yeah.
And
you're outside. You're not going to catch COVID from the person next to you.
That's actually a great. I didn't think of it like that, huh?
So you got handicap going this way, and then you got work efficiency going that way. That's gonna be the most interesting graph I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that.
Let's have that for the next podcast.
All right, we'll work on it. With all that being said, I think we'll move on to a more detailed freight and logistics update, courtesy of the logistics company. Morning, Joe. Morning, Jamie. What are you guys doing?
Good.
Guys look ready to go. Ready to rock. We got one coming off a new baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
One coming back from 2 weeks in Hawaii.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I wish I was still there, but
Me too.
I feel like everyone feels that way.
Yeah, decent trip out there.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Wedding? Sister's wedding?
My older sister's wedding. Yep.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Not a bad spot to be.
Not at all.
Worst places.
At first, I thought she was like lived here and just wanted to be extra and go to Hawaii, but the fact that she lives in Hawaii makes it it's acceptable.
Nice experience to try and
That's
blend
a thing
in.
people are doing nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Nice to try and blend in with some of the locals.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not quite as tan as some of the
Yeah,
locals
no,
are.
I definitely stood out. Definitely stood out.
Yeah. And Joe, congratulations, baby number 2.
Thank you.
Big, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now?
Coming up on almost 3, yeah. Flying by.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Second kid's the easy one though, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Simple.
That's my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, getting into logistics. I know you guys have been, out of the office a bit, moving stuff around, but hopefully still keeping an eye on the pulse of what's happening.
Trying.
Jamie, I'll start with you on the rail side of things. I know it's been a big discussion point recently. How's things moving in your recent expertise on the rail side of things?
I would say on the rail side, we're pretty steady from where we've been. Lead times are still about the same. Most places we're still seeing our like 2-week lead times on the same points that we were before. Maybe a couple days fluctuation here or there, but most things have been pretty steady. The one thing rail, like with everything, fuel has come down a little bit, so that you'll see the ripple effect from that with rail in the coming months because they lag behind a little bit. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's been pretty steady.
We've been talking a lot about things slowing down a little bit, demand coming down a little bit. Have you got any? I know with trucks, if you just don't, if stuff's a little bit slower, you just take less trucks or ship less trucks. But with rail, obviously, you're locked into that rail car in a lot of cases. So have you had any issues with people being a little bit slower or not needing so much material, or has that not really trickled into rail yet?
No, it hasn't really trickled into rail. I mean, as you kind of hit on there, like a lot of it's dedicated equipment as it is. So, we do have some times where, someone might slow down a little bit, but it's relatively easy, I think, to find a new use for something.
Yeah.
So just to get the equipment moving and keep it moving, but it hasn't been an issue really yet at all. We'll see.
And how about you, Joe? Some of your customers and prospects and things like that has still been robust demand for freight? Has things maybe cooled off a little bit?
Things have definitely cooled off a little bit. We're still getting quite a bit of drayage requests. So that backlog of, product coming in from Europe and China is still, ongoing. So we get a lot of requests for that. And I think people are starting to look more into warehousing solutions a little bit deeper. Yep. Some of the forecasts that they put out 5, 6, 7 months ago when they're starting to order some of this product is now all of a sudden cooling off themselves. So looking at repackaging opportunities that we can certainly assist with on all of those. But even on the rail side, people are looking for the most competitive rate. So rail still potentially is, a cheaper solution than trucking in most long haul distances. So, but we're looking at that as an opportunity that if it's a little bit slower, then that's a great opportunity for us to get out on the road and meet with some of our customers, prospects, and on the other side of it, grow the business even more. So,
and when you say you're getting inquiries for drayage, that means getting stuff out of ports. So the ports remain busy. You're getting stuff out of ports, whether it's going to a warehouse or direct to a customer or whatnot.
Absolutely, yeah. ISO tanks, dry containers, any one of those coming in off the vessel.
So that remains a big pain point for a lot of people.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, Port of LA and Oakland underwent a pretty good strike about 3-4 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So that kind of held up some stuff out there, which was already backlog as it was. So everyone's already looking for solutions to try and subvert around New York and Port of LA as much as possible. So it's just another hey, can we pick up at Charleston, Savannah, all of those, which we have a deep Rolodex of carriers to help out with.
So the ports are keeping you busy versus inland moves and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting I think that's kind of where we're seeing a lot more inquiries, at least on my side of things. We're seeing a lot more of those inquiries, but trucking still, I think now more than ever, people are really price conscious and looking to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking this morning. It seems like every time we talk to customers and plants, they say that demand is still strong and people are really moving through material, but on the TCC side of things, it seems like stuff's been a little bit slow July and August. So we take that as people are obviously still making product using raw materials. So I think a lot of people have had high inventories throughout COVID. They're worried about having emergency stock or whatnot. So maybe burning through a little bit of that to get back to kind of normal inventory levels. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of that happening where stuff may be a little bit slower for July and August because people are trying to burn through what they have or having a warehouse that's allocated for them. But assuming demand stays where it is, because everything we've heard, demand is still high for a lot of different types of products, whether it's wire and cable or home building or paints and coatings, that's going to pick right back up at some point. People only have so much inventory on the floor for emergency stock. So once that goes back down, people are back to normal inventory levels. It seems like stuff will pick right back up.
Yeah, I think that's probably, the case. I think this whole recession that they're trying to push right now is making a little bit of some people a little leery on what they want to consume or forecast out a little bit more. But I think it's at least from what we're seeing, kind of coming back down to a little bit more of a pre-COVID norm than we've seen in the past probably year and a half or so.
Yeah, I'd say for sure we're definitely starting to see some of like the waves and ripple effects come back into play, where we're seeing, some of the imports still, the wave of containers that maybe were held up in China or the Pacific, other places like that. We're starting to see a wave of that material coming in. And then, people definitely becoming a little bit more wary of their, inventories as we're going through, the recession and other things happening and the uncertainty in the market. And that, pushing back on, prices definitely for freight, because everything's going to become more competitive, which might, keep rail busy, for instance, on like some of the long haul containers and things, trying to move those intermodally versus just by truck.
And you mentioned fuel surcharges coming down, which is hopefully good news. Between crude coming down, leading to fuel surcharges coming down, so helping out with freight rates a little bit at least.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're finally seeing that come back to reality as well. Yeah. Thankfully, I mean, even for every one of us when we go to the pump, it's finally see that coming down.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's kind of anything else exceptionally causing you guys issues or getting more inquiries. Obviously, it sounds like the drayage continues to be a big focus here recently and for the foreseeable future.
I think just obviously the repackaging opportunity, warehousing opportunity has forced us to expand our network, which is awesome because at any point in time, it's great to have that in your network. As we potentially slow down a little bit, like we said, it's great to be able to get out and see some more people and have a little bit more free time and not feel like you're getting swamped and missing other opportunities. So it's afforded us a little bit more of that.
You got some travel planned at all? Are you on baby duty here for the next couple months? What's coming up?
Passing off the baby. Actually headed out of town tomorrow for a quick overnight to head to Indy for Chemedge, and then I've got probably 3 to 4 shows in September that we'll have posted up that we can be out more transportation related. Try and again build the Rolodex of carriers.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Good talking to you guys, and we'll have you back on an episode here soon.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
At what point do you start the Go Bills sign-offs? Is it too early yet?
It's a little too early.
All right.
It's a little too early.
Next one.
Absolutely.
Next one. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, moving on. Price updates and trends. It's pretty much smack in the middle of August, so I know we're starting to think about September pricing. Obviously, as we talked a little bit before, seeing kind of mixed bag with what's happening with both natural gas and crude oil. So I think it'll be interesting coming into September what pricing does, both based on raw materials as well as if we keep hearing some supply issues throughout Europe, whether it's due to gas shortages or the Rhine River, or I guess more than likely both. So I don't know if you guys started to hear anything about September pricing yet on things like plasticizers or any of other large products, or maybe a little too early to start hearing about next month.
I haven't heard much. It seems like everything's pretty flat to down for the most part. I can't think of any outliers, but I haven't heard much for September postings or initiatives at this point.
I feel like when things are going up, everyone knows they're going up. But when there's decreases, we're not really going to make it public. Like,
everybody waits to see what everyone else does.
Keep it on the DL.
There's a bit of that, I mean, overall, I think, you're still seeing, strong values in mixed xylene. So things like phthalic anhydride is still very strong. And there's also been quite a bit of manufacturing issues. Oxo alcohols overall in regions like Europe and Asia, they've certainly been down. U.S. has been relatively stable, with propylene being flat and costs to ship from both Europe and Asia super high. And then there's been, quite a bit of, problems in production that people have had to go on the market and buy. As far as oxo alcohols, we're coming up on seasonality for things like methanol, glycols, which are down slightly, and glycols have been certainly down for quite some time. I expect to see those come up through the through the season, through the demand season, as they normally do, as demand increases, and hopefully, things like methanol, the olefins in China will improve, and even demand for fuel in China for methanol might improve. But methanol is down, which is typical for summer overall. Things like benzene cratered quite a bit from super high to high, $5.30, $5.40 to $4. So that's impacted things like styrene, adipic acid, things like that, where prices have come off considerably. Plasticizers have the downside impact of the oxo alcohols, but the upside impact of phthalic. So they've been relatively flat, although demand is pushing pricing down, and products like DOTP, which really weren't completely widely accepted as a primary plasticizer. Those have been pushed lower by imports from places like Asia and Turkey especially. So we've seen that price crater quite a bit, where other general purpose plasticizers like DOP, DINP, relatively flat to slightly down, and we expect some more down for September. So I think that's my overall impression of what's going on right now, at least in North America.
I don't know that I could add one more thing to that.
No, that was
I was going to say that
good.
was
That's
quite
pretty
the...
good, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So moving on.
How do you concur?
Concur. 10-4.
Yeah, I guess you are our newly demoted glycol manager, if you will.
Demoted.
I don't know what's the correct word for giving something away.
Glycols have been reallocated.
Yeah,
Reallocated.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Corey Mullins is now our glycol product manager, and frees up time for me to play some more golf and
work
from home.
36 holes are going to work on that handicap. That was a lob. You had to sneak that one in there. But yeah, I guess it's a good point with something we haven't really talked about, but moving into the winter, like it's weird to think about, but start hearing some of that seasonal demand for methanol and glycols, and people starting to stock up on.
And downhole stuff should improve as we prioritize our own energies. I think you're going to start seeing some more downhole products, which are glycols and methanols and things like that. So to keep the oil flowing from our fracking here domestically.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Some interesting things happening, I think, in the U.S. Maybe we could have talked about in the beginning part of this, but like Biden signed that chip bill. So there's like IBM, the IBMs of the world building new chip plants in the U.S., which would help things, really everything, phones, cars, computers, all kinds of technology. So it's talking about investing in U.S. supply chains. That'll be an interesting, I think, uptick between obviously building those plants and then having more chips available domestically for automotive production and phones and things like that. That'll be I think we hear a lot about limitations from our customers because they can't get chips, so they don't need to use paint. But if that chip shortage improves, that'll obviously be a uptick for I think U.S. demand and production over the next. It's going to be 5-10 years.
It's going to be a while. Yeah, we're looking at a while till we get our own production facilities up and running. But it is a bold and a smart move. We've seen like depending on foreign countries like Germany on gas, Germany on Russia, depending on Russia for gas. Some things are too important to allow that leverage to somebody who might have a leader that becomes not friendly. And so I think it's important that we invest, and it's good to see that some of these bills are getting passed, although they're just staunchly Democrat. And then we are coming up to midterms, so that's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens during midterms, but I'm not looking forward to hearing all the BS, and the fact is they're all worthless. So
I think every other ad on TV is just someone running for governor or whatever.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, we need a break from this
The
stuff.
lawn signs are all back.
Yep.
The lawn signs are back.
God, I know. That's all we need is more flags and signs. But hopefully that everything works out and we get, a government that works for us on our behalf, and that's a stretch.
So obviously starting to think about some of the seasonal products for wintertime. What else are we working through on inventory here, Nicole? I know this has been a project of yours.
So, we've got, like you mentioned, the food products that's become. I've seen actually a lot more inbound requests for that. So I'm curious to see if there's any, correlation with something that's going on, or, just, more production, or just second source of supply.
We can usually see like a good trend if something's getting tight. All of a sudden we start getting, calls.
But what's interesting is those products are more LTL volumes, versus full truckload,
Right.
which is nice. But, it's a lot of the same, 1 to 3 pallet type requests. So, but they're consistent. So yeah, just interesting to see.
And sometimes mixed. You might have
Yep.
citric, malic, and fumaric on there rather than just one product. So,
they're all mixed.
Yeah.
It's rare that we're seeing inbound requests for those, that line with just one item on it.
Right.
So it's nice because you can kind of build out, your portfolio there. But the packaged plasticizers, we've got, stock of DOTP, DINP, DPHP, Elator CH, DIDP, DINA, just to name a few. But that has slowed a little bit. But I do anticipate as people move through their inventory that they're going to be, we saw a huge boom with purchasing, and everyone, filled up their
sort of like their
warehouses.
security inventory. If they have tank for DIMP, they'd put 20 totes of DIMP on the floor for just in case a truck didn't show up, or because that was and still is a common occurrence. So I think that security of supply meant keeping packaged goods
and
on the floor.
What I think is going to happen as we go into, I know it's funny, Angela brought it up this morning, flu season, not that we want to think about it, but you think that the logistics are kind of tight now as it is, but I'm curious to see how that's going to roll out once everyone kind of goes, like you had mentioned too, I don't feel good, I'm going to call out.
Right.
Well, what's that going to do long term to everyone, and how can you be reactive to it? So
I think it's smart to keep that that security inventory. I think that people were smart to do it and still are, so.
Well, we've seen some of the, I think, other extreme options where, like, one of our plasticizer customers was buying some totes of plasticizer, and instead of continuing to do that, they just put a second tank in. So rather than having totes on the floor, they made the investment to install a second tank, which is obviously more economical in the long run. So
floor space is at a premium. We're hearing that a lot of warehouses are tapped out. They're just they're busting at the seams right now. So if you can, and bulk is certainly a lesser expensive alternative. You're paying for the packaging. But alternatively, the shipping is cheaper.
you get it on both sides.
So you win on the fact that you can take LTL, or you could ship, in a dry box. It's cheaper to go farther than liquid bulk at this point, more available.
Yep. Pros and cons to each side, but
Absolutely.
I think it's to your point. I don't think it's a bad thing at all to have that safety stock on the floor if you're not a regular packaged user, because I think a lot of people ran into situations where they need it, didn't have it, and couldn't get it, and is the plant shutdown worth it?
Yeah. I think you're gambling. I mean, we haven't had a hard hurricane season that could come. I mean, who knows what's going to happen if China decides to invoke their Taiwan being their own, then that could get really, really scary. So, safety stock is, for geopolitical and global weather patterns, is probably a safe bet.
Yep, for sure.
Do you ever think you'd have to hedge your inventories based on what's going on in politics?
I think so. Geopolitics. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's if I look back at the last 10 years of my career, the impact has been pandemic, weather, probably, and then geopolitical. Those are the three. I mean, that it's not, and then the other fact is that with the amount of investment in petrochemical production in China, there was a lag in investment worldwide, and therefore we're running, old plants very hard and they break often. Yep. So, that's been a massive impact that I've seen. And unfortunately, that's, turned into some very dangerous and critical situations with, fires, explosions, et cetera, which we never, ever want to happen and never want to see any loss of life. But, when you run these plants hard, the population is growing worldwide. People want to raise up their lifestyle to live the highest and best lifestyle they can on this short time when we're on the earth. And they want stuff to do that, and that's where we are. So the more their demand rises, if you don't have a good solid infrastructure of raw materials to production, you're going to have breakage and you're going to have outage, and you need safety stock.
Yep, something I think will be a trend for the next 10 years, updating some of these plants.
Could get more intense. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's all I've seen in the last 25 years of my career. I've seen it get even more intense in the last 10.
Yep. Events, conferences, trade shows. I think we're all home for a while, which is nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, what's the next big one you guys have coming up? EPCA?
EPCA and APLA.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yeah, they're talking about not having the EPCA.
Yeah, we're all coming. We're all going to APLA, right? We're doing a remote.
Do you need support at APLA?
Cancun? Yeah, I think that's company wide. We should bring Kettlebottom. We should bring all of the customer service. Everybody should go.
We'll have this precise booth right on the beach. It's gonna be great.
The green screen behind.
No green screen. We're gonna show people where we are.
You're right. We don't need to be like that guy on Instagram.
We're gonna embrace it. We're gonna embrace it.
It's sort of like that NACD conference in Hawaii. It's like,
they
do. The West Coast goes to Hawaii. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, the Northeast regional one's in like Maine, and the West regional one's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Those going to be two polar opposites.
Yeah, we got the bad end of that stick.
I mean, Maine's not a bad place, but
no, but
not
Hawaii. We're not comparing apples to apples here.
It
could look like Bermuda. I mean, we got options.
Doesn't even mean, I mean, if you have to take a plane, I mean, no one's driving to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Yeah. So, I mean, hey.
Who manages our California operations? I mean, they should probably be there, right?
Nicole?
AJ?
Sure.
AJ's like me. I volunteer. You just gave up Glycols. You got time on your hands, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You know what? There are probably some nice golf courses out there you could hit up. I mean,
nothing but free time. I guess that kind of wraps things up. Anything else we missed? Anything else to talk about?
Got your wedding coming up, Benny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One more episode before the wedding, I guess.
Boy. Really? Oh, so you have the timeline laid out.
Yeah. I mean, it's 6 weeks away, which is weird to say. I feel like it's been this thing in the distance, and now it's like
it's a reality.
I remember what I was doing 6 weeks ago. It didn't feel like that long, so it's gonna come up fast.
It's gonna be
as these things do.
Yep.
But yeah, everyone at this table will be there. We got Robb's RSVP on the due date.
It was August 15th. I got 4 kids and 4 dogs. I got to make sure everybody's taken care of for that few hours. I got to be there.
It's funny. We talked about people when you send out an RSVP, it's either the first day they get it, they send it back, or the day it's due.
I couldn't have been the only one that RSVP'd on the due date. Okay, all right.
No.
So yeah.
How do you manage doing it on the due date? Do you put it in your calendar, or like how do you? I would have forgotten about it.
The thing is, I knew it was August 15th. I just knew in the back of my mind, because I looked at it and Lynn handed it to me at home and said, you need RSVP for this, because it was one of those things where you had to type in, he's so technical, you gotta type in their website or whatever to RSVP. So she said, on your computer at work, RSVP. So I put it onto my desk and I said, yep, I got to do that by August 15th. And then it kept clicking in my head and it was bothering me that I hadn't done it yet. So that's just how it goes with me, So it actually is like a relief. It's like popping is it. When you RSVP, I don't have to think about that August 15th date anymore. But for some reason, it took me till August 15th to do so. But
you are, I think, one of the only people that RSVP'd on the due date that we didn't have to remind, though.
Oh, well, so that's nice.
Everyone else that RSVP'd,
I always knew I was going, Benny. I just, just
a formality.
I wouldn't miss it for the world, but I had to just make sure everything was lined up, everything was good to go,
Yep.
But
no, it's all good.
And we're looking forward to it.
Now we're gonna make a seating chart, figure out where everyone's gonna sit.
Is that why you asked me today about the seating chart? I figured.
I gotta make.
Nicole's a good person to help you with that stuff. Yeah,
I have to make one for Big Al's baby shower next week. Yep. So that should be
experience.
Oh, that should be fun.
Professionals.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
One more episode pre-wedding. That'll be the pre-wedding episode, I guess.
And then honeymoon is
Italy.
Yeah, wow.
We're gonna go.
Oh, God.
We're
gonna be on a diet. You're gonna have a lot of intake of vino and pasta.
Yeah, my suit's stretchy.
Napoleon
so that's
pizza.
Okay. Yep.
Your suit stretches. All right.
A lot of pizza, a lot of wine. What's up,
Nice.
everybody?
Oh, I love it.
People recognize you in the streets in Italy. You're the guy from the podcast.
Hopefully, yeah. That's what we're looking for.
You're the big shot from that podcast.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
I love it.
So yeah, I think good episode. A lot going on. Seems like there's always a lot going on. A lot of different things every time, which is good. So good sitting down and talk to you guys. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you in September.
See you in September.
Good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for streaming the View from Jamestown podcast edition.
Like and subscribe for more.